Well, it may not look it now, but it was monsoon-like conditions on Tuesday morning as the racing press gathered to see the world's best racehorse Frankel continue his preparation for the Juddmonte International at York. It'll be the colt's first try at 1.25 miles following a facile win in the Sussex Stakes at Glorious Goodwood earlier in the month.
He's been in very good form. He came out of the race bouncing. He had a really nice race at Goodwood, and it was just what we were really hoping for. Really good stretch of his legs, basically. But he's obviously going to step up to 1.25 miles plus now in the Juddmonte, and we're really looking forward to it.
And at Goodwood, he seemed more relaxed than ever in the pre-race preliminaries.
Yeah, he's come on. I mean, his mind has been very good this year, and he's come on really pleasingly. It's like every great athlete, you need to have a big match temperament, don't you, really? And he seems to have it, thank goodness. And the way he's progressed this year has been an absolute joy.
And have you had to do anything differently now you're gearing him up to run over 1.25 miles?
No, I don't think so. There's certainly nothing very obvious. I think the importance there's been Henry and Shane, who rides him, and everyone at Warren Place has been conscious of this is what it's been leading up to. So he's been learning to settle better in his work. They're just teaching him just gently, and so I think from that point of view he's got there. Obviously, Tom and him have built up a really good relationship now, and I think it's a sort of one of mutual respect, which is great. And so when Tom says go, Frankel's ready to do it, and of course when Tom says whoa, he's also ready just to lob along and keep him going at a nice sort of good pace that he's capable of. It's always a little bit of unknown, especially for a horse who has so much inherent speed. When we're talking, with the advice or various suggestions we've had is that he should run in everything from the July Cup to the Melbourne Cup. But I think that the way he's been going and what he's been showing us, and Henry's always said, well, I'll wait for Frankel to tell us, and he's obviously mentioned it to Henry that he's ready, and so I think from that point of view we're pretty comfortable.
And it's Frankel that gallops into the lead. Excelebration is again trying to go with him as they race inside the final quarter mile, and QUEALLY says go on the champ. It's Frankel that leads the way, and he opens up in tremendous style. 4 or 5 lengths clear of Excelebration. The rest are well beaten off, and it's all the ones for Frankel. It's going to be 11 from 11 here. The champion of the world, Frankel, in majestic form by 8 or 9 in the Queen Anne. Brilliant performance in second. Excelebration just holding on.
And although it was Cityscape chasing Excelebration home on Sunday, it must be quite satisfying seeing that horse come out and win such a competitive Group 1.
Puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? It was pretty 9 Group 1 winners in the Jacques de Marois, and strictly on the form book you'd say, well, Frankel is 12 lengths in front of all those. Really, and there were some top class horses in that race, so it's pretty extraordinary. I think the intention would be to run in the Champion Stakes. Again, that will be part and parcel of his step up to 1.25 miles and new challenges, etc. So I would hope he would go to that. But again, we have to see what he does and how he does at York, and then the programme will be a lot more clear.
And is France still in the mix for that?
France was always a possibility in the fact that if Henry wanted, it's a 2-month gap, and if Henry wanted the option of going to something like a Moulin in between, just to keep him match practice, match fit, then that would be an option. But the objective will be the Champion Stakes, and how he gets there obviously will be up to Henry.
Up against Frankel on the Knavesmire is stablemate and last year's winner twice over.
The defending champ, Prince Khalid, took the view that if other people weren't going to come to the race, we would definitely support our own race, and he deserves to come. He had his first couple of starts were a bit disappointing this year, but he came back really well in the Eclipse. He's retained his enthusiasm. He's been in great shape. You saw him going up the hill, Warren Hill, this morning. He's in really good frame of mind, I think. and he deserves to come.
And with Bullet Train also in the race, that makes it quite interesting for jockey bookings.
Yes, that's a good question actually. Henry, I've got to talk to him about that. Obviously Ian rode twice over last year to win the Juddmonte, so that is an important thing. But equally so, Ian has done a brilliant job in riding Bullet Train, getting the pace absolutely right, which again is a sort of vital cog in the wheel. So I've got to discuss it with Henry, but certainly Ian's going to be in the mix to ride one or other.
And you've also got Frankel's brother, Noble Mission, in the Great Voltigeur.
Yep. He's come out of Goodwood well. We're very pleased with that. I think a flat galloping track will probably suit him a little bit better than Goodwood. Although I have to say he did handle it very well. He came down the hill almost better than we expected. And battled it out in the end, so the experience will put him in good stead for the Great Voltigeur.
Simon Crisford said earlier he thinks Enki could reverse the form. Would you agree?
Well, he would say that, and of course there was nothing between them. So, and I don't suppose there'll be a great deal of difference between them on the Knavesmire. But we're very pleased with the way Noble Mission's come on, and of course there are unfortunately a few other pretty decent horses in the race as well.
And provided he comes out all being well from the Voltigeur, the plan is then the Leger.
Yeah, that's very much a possibility. The Leger, but again, we've got to see how he does this time and take it from there. I mean, it's a very nice thought, but again, going to Classic is another dimension as well.
And he's worn a hood thus far in his races. Would you continue with that, or might you take it off?
We're looking at taking it off. Only for the simple reason we think it's done its job, the hood, and it does block out some of the noise. But again, as the horse grows up and becomes more used to everything, you get to a certain degree of diminishing returns. But I've got Henry's thinking about that, but it is a possibility that he'd run without the hood.
It's Little Bridge for Hong Kong, who leads the King's Stand from Bated Breath. Soul Power trying to come home strongly for Ireland, but driven out towards the line. It's Little Bridge for Zach Purton. It's going to win for Danny SHUM, the King's Stand for Hong Kong. Bated Breath was second. Soul Power next. Big run, Medician Man.
He's heading. I saw him the other morning. Worked really nicely. Roger very pleased with him. He looks in pretty good shape. Obviously, he's going to need to be. This is a hugely competitive race, the Coolmore Nunthorpe, and I would expect some very stiff competition all round. But I hope he's up to it.
Yeah, we don't get more rain like we had this morning.
I've told William Darby that there is to be no more rain.
And also one we saw earlier today, Stipulate.
Yep. I think originally we had twice over looking at the Strensel, but I think Henry will now divert. If twice goes to the Juddmonte, then Stipulate, who was in the Sovereign, will now go to the Strensel.